Hey everyone, Andrew Joseph Keith here. I am an artist and sculptor, and most of these videos are focused on that, but today I'm a father. I'm a father. We had a little girl yesterday, and so something I'm very opinionated about is parenting, because parents these days are idiots. A lot of them. Not all of them, but just so many are. So today I want to talk about my 3 biggest pet peeves when it comes to parenting. And I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. Okay, I don't actually know, but this is what I would be thinking. Is this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He just had a baby yesterday. How much could he know? And to that I have to say I don't have to know anything. It's YouTube. So, but I am the second oldest of 9 siblings, and I've seen my fair share of parenting problems, both within the household and without the household and everywhere. So, biggest 3 pet peeves. Gonna try to keep short, so I narrowed it down to 3, though I could probably give 80. Parents lying to kids. Lying to your kids. Some people saying that, oh, kids aren't respectful these days because we don't beat them anymore. We don't swat them. That's why they're not respectful. Talk about that. And lazy parenting. Lazy parenting. So, number 1, lying to your kids. This one is huge today. Whenever I see a kid, 2, 3, 5, 8, whatever age, that is really disrespectful and just going crazy in a public area where that would normally be something that wouldn't happen if there was kind of a controlled environment. So these kids that go crazy, I just listen to the parents. And they say, if you do that one more time, do that one more time. Oh, one more time, I will smack you. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. So, okay. Here's what I would ask myself if I were the kid. So if I do it one more time, what happens? Because it's not what you say is going to happen. You say there's going to be a punishment if I do something, that there's going to be a consequence, and there's nothing. You just say it another time. And I just like to see how many times that you'll say something before you just explode and your face turns into a tomato and you start yelling and screaming and just can't handle the situation. Because if you, as the parent, would just give me the consequence the first time after asking once, and then come and help me obey, or come and put me in a timeout, then I wouldn't have to just keep testing the boundaries. See, I think that children are like blind people in a dark room. They are just looking for the walls. Walls are boundaries. Children need boundaries. Without boundaries, they believe that they can do whatever they want, and they will. Without boundaries, children will do whatever. And a boundary is simply saying, like, here, there's going to be a reaction. You can punch your fist through that wall, and it will hurt. That's because it's a boundary. It's a boundary, and there's a reaction when you try crossing it. Does that make sense? I feel like parents these days don't get that there should be boundaries that they should set, and when the children don't do it the first time, then there should be a consequence. There should be a reaction. Shouldn't be a violent one. I don't really personally believe in swatting or hitting. There are so many ways to give positive or negative punishment, just to discourage the behaviors that we don't want. There are so many ways. I just feel like swatting isn't very effective. So that's my next point. Some people say, oh, well, the children aren't behaving because they're not being beaten regularly. I think if they were beaten more, they would behave better. That makes sense. You don't want them to hit each other. You hit them, and then they learn not to hit each other. What is this? What logic? What are you trying to... What? It's not that swatting was effective. It was that in the past, boundaries were set and boundaries were held. I believe in being honest to children. With me, I'm honest to my younger sisters. I have 3. The oldest is 8. And they will often not listen to my mom, a stepdad. They won't listen because they don't trust them. They don't trust that when they say that they need to do something, they actually need to do that. And it's true, because they don't need to. Because usually it's 4 or 5 or 6 times and they might never have to do it. And so they disobey all they want. But if I tell them that they need to do something, they do it because they know that I'm being honest, and that if they don't do it, that there will be a consequence, that I will give them a timeout. If they try to leave the timeout, I'll sit with them in the timeout and hold them until it's over. And they don't like that. They don't like it because it takes away part of their freedom. It's a consequence to their action. When we break a rule, we lose freedom. That's just the natural way of things. We break a law, we go to jail, we lose our freedom. We try to punch somebody in the face and we get sued and we go to jail and we lose our freedom. That's how the world works, but it's not how children are being taught. They are being taught that boundaries are just some obscure thing and that once in a while their parents will explode and be terrible, but for the majority of the time they can disobey all they want and there's no real repercussions. Be honest. If you say you're going to put them in a timeout, put them in a timeout. I hate it when parents are like, if you do that, you're going to be grounded for the rest of your life. What? That's just a lie. If you do that, then you're never going to your friend's house again. If you do that, then you're never going to eat again. These things are ridiculous. Why do you even tell your kids that? It's so absurd. It drives me nuts because I hear it all the time. And the kids are smarter than what their parents are saying. They know that that's not real because I've tested it in the past and it hasn't been real, and therefore it won't be real. And so being honest. Be honest with children. The last one, lazy parenting. I think that's the biggest reason that people aren't honest with their kids, because it's hard to put down a boundary and stick to it. It's hard. You have to get up off your lazy butt and you have to give them the consequence. You have to take away something that they want or put them in a situation where they're in a timeout or there's a consequence. They bumped up against the wall and you say, there it is. That's the boundary. You passed it. Here's the consequence. If they can find that, if they can learn that, then they will be able to control themselves, because parents that don't give their kids boundaries don't give them the opportunity to learn how to control themselves. They are robbing their children of a valuable lesson that they need to be able to control their own actions or there will be consequences. These children, when they grow up and they haven't learned that lesson, they end up in jail or on drugs or just doing terrible things because they're just trying to find a boundary that their parents were too lazy to teach them. And it drives me crazy. I get so frustrated whenever I see it, and I see it all the time. Just be honest. Don't be lazy, and give your kids boundaries and help them learn to control themselves. They need to learn that. That is such an important lesson. And if they can learn that, then you have prepared them to succeed in the world. If they can control their actions, if they can control their temper, if they can say, there's something that I want, so I'm not going to throw a tantrum, I'm going to work for it. If they can learn to do that instead of throwing a tantrum, instead of being entitled and just saying it's mine, I want it, so it's mine, it should be mine, this world will be a lot better place if we could just do that. I feel very passionately about this. It drives me nuts to see people emotionally or physically abusing their children or just not teaching their children to learn to control themselves, because that is an important lesson that it seems like we value less and less for how little it's taught. And so that's my rant today. That's just what I want to say. In the future, I'll have other videos about other things, but today that's what I'm feeling really passionate about. I love my baby Amanda. She's amazing, she's beautiful, and I promise you that I am going to teach her, and she will be that much better of a person because of it. I'll love her, I'll do it lovingly, and she'll trust me because I'll be honest with her.